The next character coming up, I've watched as he triggers everyone everywhere he goes. Milo. Thank you. This one's not on. Now I know what you're thinking. He's even better looking in person. It's not working, we just have to hold it like a pleb. Thank you. Now I may have been away for a while. I've been in America being really, really, really famous. But I haven't forgotten my roots. My hairdresser forgot my roots this morning. I haven't forgotten my roots, which is why I splashed out $4,000 on this Turnbull and Astor jacket for you. Now, I shouldn't crow about money. Some of you will have read. Had some financial difficulties recently. See the coverage about that? It's been a very humbling experience. I like to say I'm between billionaires at the moment. No, but it's been awful. We've had to put a deposit down on the cheap Lamborghini. The Huracan, can you imagine it? Yes, so hardship is relative. And to the Gizmodo and BuzzFeed reporters asking me how I go on, I will earn more this year than you will in your entire lifetime, so go fuck yourself, sweetheart. Now, this is lovely, but it's also very hot, so give me a second. That's all you're getting. I do need a Lamborghini, but not that much. Now, today's not really about me, like the rest of my life. Today is about you, and with that in mind, there's some serious things to say. First of all, the intrepid speakers who have come on. You've got two guys left to hear from today, and I'm going to introduce them at the end. The speakers today have been through some harrowing ordeals. They've been through really bad shit in their defense of free speech. Count Dankula, do you fucking mind? They've been through some really bad stuff. Convicted of mocking Nazis on the internet. Count Dankula, Tommy, who cannot go anywhere without risking being attacked. Almost everybody who you'll hear from today has risked something. I too have risked something. I flew here in economy class. I know, you don't have to tell me. Next to some corpulent, snoring mother. Gavin McInnes, fired from every company he's ever started. Even I can't claim that. Now, you've shown courage in being here. You've risked opprobrium, you've risked censure, but you're braving the ridicule and the lies. Congratulations to you. You should be proud of being here, because showing up is no mean feat in the current environment. Now, of course, none of us here is genuinely far right, or none of the speakers you're hearing from qualify as that in my book. I'm glad you weren't put off by the name-calling in the press. For instance, I, as a gay half-Jew with a black husband, am, according to BuzzFeed, the closest thing to David Duke in journalism. I would never join the KKK. Mostly because things really don't show off your figure, and also because I'd have to get a sort of seasonal membership, since wearing white after Labor Day would get me even more ostracized from gay public life than I already am. And there's the whole I don't hate black people thing. Now, since the fake news media are here in abundance, let me address, and I hate to talk about myself, and I promise we'll get onto the good stuff in a minute, but let me address a few of the allegations, because I know it can be tough being a Milo fan sometimes. First of all, they call me an Islamophobe. Well, they couldn't be more wrong. Muslims and I have lots in common. We both think women should be never seen and never heard. We both throw massive tantrums when we don't get adequately coddled. They say I hate women. Well, so do other women. One of the things they don't tell you when they write about this outburst, this supposed outburst of abuse and harassment on the internet, sexism in the workplace and in universities, it's all fucking women doing it. It's other girls, they forget to mention that. 9 times out of 10, when a woman is called a bitch, it's another girl doing it, or it's me. Another one they say all the time, transphobe. Well, they've got me there. I must admit it, but aren't we all really? I don't think transphobic's the best word for it, really, because I'm less scared of them than I am amused by the bad wigs and how thin-skinned they are. They call me anti-Semitic, despite the fact that my mother is Jewish, and the only thing that I say about the Jews is I think it's great we run everything. And that we can control the weather. I mean, look. Did you see that adorable little dreadlocked lawmaker from Chicago? He's currently in trouble because he got caught on video saying that the weather was manipulated by the Rothschilds. I wish someone had told me. What do you do? Can someone tell me, are there any Jews here? Are there any Jews? Yes, plenty of Jews. Do I just do the Doctor Strange thing and wish for it? Nobody told them I was here. If only I'd known Jews had this kind of power, I'd have made it a bit cooler today. Now, perhaps we can have the protesters rained on later, although it sounds like plenty of you have been up to that already. Now, if Britain were a free country, following the lead of Trayon White, that lawmaker in Chicago, I might spend the next few minutes speculating what other races have by way of superpowers. Fuck it, I will. Perhaps the Chinese can divide by 0. It was a math joke. None of you got it. The Japanese, they look good in everything, don't they? Or whatever clothes they wear, they always seem to look fashionable and elegant, just effortless. Like Chicken Breast and Sally Burkow, they go with everything. It was a sex joke. You just didn't like that one. Black people did Wakanda, that was good. It's okay, you can laugh. My favourite tweet of all time, by the way, was from a Black Lives Matter activist who was angry that she couldn't find Wakanda on a world atlas. And she said that this was a typical example of how white oppression erases people of colour from historical narratives. It's wonderful. She hadn't been that mad since they discovered that Tutankhamun had mostly European DNA and that the rest of the pharaohs were East Asian. We was kings. Thank you. And then, of course, there's white people. White, not supposed to, thank you. This is a politically correct, Guardian-approved booing. But white people have superpowers too. There's parliamentary democracy, capitalism, the rule of law, property rights, TV and radio, cars, light bulbs, the printing press, the internet, Shakespeare, Mozart, St. Peter's Basilica, and Kate Smurthwaite. We have to admit our mistakes too. I love my white privilege, don't you? I think it's wonderful, I bask in it. My white privilege enables me to be labelled defective by the media and by celebrities because of the colour of my skin. It allows me the pleasure of being told that because I'm white, I'm responsible for the sins of every white person in history, and that my life has been an effortless glide through the highest echelons of society. Well, let me tell you, it hasn't all been plain sailing. There were years we couldn't heat the pool. Ordinary people like us hate to play the victim, because we know that playing the victim is what the left does, using their confected grievances and imaginary victimhood and spinning it into social capital. But there's no shame in occasionally pointing out when you are actually the victim of something. Outrage, the word outrage, has been sort of ruined by Twitter. We associate it with lies. But outrage, properly understood, is a normal human reaction to injustice. And everybody here, by dint of what you believe, because you think that people should be able to speak freely, because you think that ideas are more important than skin color, because you like your country, you are the victims of injustice. Your supposed white privilege enables you to be actively discriminated against in university applications because your life is just so fucking great. And if you're one of the many minority members here, you are kicked and spat at, called an Uncle Tom, pathologized because you have the wrong opinions for your identity, which is arguably way worse. Have you ever heard me called self-loathing? It's only true around Christmas when I put on a few extra pounds. But really it's an attempt to pathologize. What they're trying to do is give me a disease, a brain disease. They're saying, if you believe something other than I do, you must be ill, and you must especially be sick because you're gay and you're supposed to be with us. Now, quite honestly, I don't care much about race, and I don't spend a lot of time thinking about it. But talk to those boys, those white working class boys who are failing at school, whose literacy rates are through the floor, who cannot get an education or even a job, about white privilege. Talk to the young girls of Rotherham or Telford about white privilege. I, in fact, have a strictly no whites policy in common with the BBC, but mine is restricted to my bedroom. The BBC wants to roll it out across the corporation. It should and it must be okay if you are a black person who has been instructed what to believe. If you are a woman who is suspicious about this wage gap crap, and it is crap. It doesn't exist. A female Harvard economist last year tried desperately to establish the existence of the wage gap and couldn't. There's nothing wrong with occasionally drawing attention to the fact that you are, in fact, a victim of something. There's no such thing as white privilege. Mostly there's people with money and people without money. Poverty and lack of opportunity are colorblind, just like the solution to both of them, capitalism and free speech. Now, what I really care about is ideas and values. And the value we're here today to defend is the right of every man, woman, and child to say, do, and be whatever the hell they want. This is your moment. This is your Woodstock. This is the thing that nobody ever thought could happen. Thousands upon thousands of people gathering in the centre of London from all political persuasions, genders, ideologies, orientations, and skin colours. Drag queens, for fuck's sake. What are you guys doing listening to drag queens? This is the coalition the left has created. This is the coalition that the left is responsible for, and, by the way, some establishment conservatives too, by endlessly bending to their demands. Nothing is more disappointing to me than the horror of the current state of the Spectator magazine, which was the last bastion of common sense, and now publishes Matthew Paris. The elites are not going to help you. Where were the comedians in Britain when a YouTuber was threatened with imprisonment for telling a joke? Frankie Boyle's entire career is based on pissing people off. Not for some higher moral purpose, but because he gets off on it. And I know what he means. Where the fuck was he? Where has the Conservative Party in this country been when people expressing ordinary right-wing points of view, respectable, reasonable opinions, have become expelled from public life, chased from the BBC, invited only on as cranks and crackpots against 3 liberals, including, of course, the host? But the people of this country are behind you. They prove it when they voted for Brexit. I don't know, guessing by the number of flags here, that most of you are probably Brexit voters. But I'm willing to bet that there was a sizable portion of people who voted for Brexit without giving much of a shit about the EU, who just wanted to say, stop telling me what to do. Stop telling me how to think. I would have been one of them. The police are behind you. They can't say it. Don't look at them. Don't put them on the spot. They're ruled over by politically correct appointees who have decided that the priorities of various police forces should be scouring the internet for mean words instead of, stopping systematic racially oriented gang rape. Of course, the army and the armed forces are heroes, people who fight for our freedoms while watching. Can you imagine coming home from Iraq or Afghanistan and seeing the freedoms that you have put yourself literally on the firing line to protect unravel day by day? Because conservatives who should be standing up for us, Tories and journalists who should be maintaining our freedoms, have utterly capitulated to the progressive left. No more. Most importantly, thank you, Pumpkin. Most importantly, truth and righteousness are behind you. You're the vanguard. You are the dark knights. The first men and women to proudly stand with your heads above the parapet, caring nothing for the bullets that may come your way. And for that, I salute you. Thank you. Defending free expression is not, by the way, code for permitting racism. This is not a secret plan to encourage the growth of bigotry. I don't want everyone telling horrendous jokes about racial minorities. My friend Gavin would be out of a job. Our movement is just what we say it is. A demand that ordinary, respectable, reasonable points of view are allowable in polite society and appear just a bit more often on telly. This is the refusal to accept the criminalization of comedy. Now, unlike some of you here today, I am a full-blooded free speech fundamentalist. I want Nazis on TV, not because I like them, BuzzFeed, you know which bit of the quote they're going to use, but because I believe that good ideas and bad ideas deserve to duke it out. Because I am a classical liberal, I believe J.S. Mill when he tells us that if we don't rigorously and regularly defend our ideas and our ideology, we lose them. They become dead dogmas. We don't know why we believe them anymore. And because I saw what happened when Nick Griffin went on Question Time, I saw what happened when in many instances, in America, when genuine racists, people who actually think that someone should be expelled from a country or shouldn't have the vote or isn't as morally significant because of the color of their skin. And I don't know anyone like that. I would probably have met them by now. When those people are exposed to the harsh light of day, I believe that sunlight is the best disinfectant. I want everyone, no matter what they believe, no matter how batshit feminist or unpleasantly racist they are, I want them to be heard, because that is the only way I believe that a civilized society progresses. The left can't win on arguments, so they have to win with intimidation and bullying. They have to win with other tactics, but I want people to see everybody. The more people tune into Kathy Newman, the more guaranteed a Conservative majority is forever. So yes, we're all lied about, as a way of making us unpalatable and of driving us from public view, but the dam is breaking, and this is it. It's not working anymore when you say, as Tommy and Gavin and Raheem and I do, that you're a Western chauvinist, a Western supremacist. This is translated for you by the helpful members of the media as an admission of racism, but nothing could be further from the truth. You don't have to read between the lines of what we say to find out what we mean. We tell you what we mean. Doesn't matter how many times or in how much detail jihadis praise Allah and say all of what they're doing is for the greater glory of their God. No, it must be toxic. Sorry, I know. It must be toxic masculinity or gun control or something like that. The Pulse nightclub shooter who killed 49 gays and hurt another 50, they lied about and said he was gay. They said it was repressed self-loathing. No evidence whatsoever for that. We think the West is the best. You guys love your queen. And you don't mind that lady in Buckingham Palace either. Who the hell wouldn't be proud to be British? I mean, I wavered for a bit, but coming back here and realizing there's hope, it should be okay to say that our values are the best and that others are inferior. I don't hate anybody for their faith, even if I think that faith is structurally unsound and they're an idiot for believing it, but I should be able at least to point out the hypocrisy of liberals who say they support women and homosexuals while at the same time mollycoddling and pandering to a belief system that wants me dead. The world does not conform to the universe painted by The Guardian and the BBC. I don't know how much black dick I have to suck before BuzzFeed stops calling me a white nationalist. I think the answer is a lot more. Happy to. But do you know why they lie at you? They lie to you, rather, about you, lie in general. And then I must go because I'm running late, I'm sorry. They lie about you because they're afraid. They lie about you because they're scared. They lie about you because they know they're about to lose. They're like a dog in the corner of a room, close to death, almost kicked to death. That's when they're the most vicious. That's when they're the most dangerous. That's when they resort to violence and nothing else. Batter the left today. They know they're about to lose. And the next 30 years is going to be a glorious, shitlord-filled explosion of political incorrectness. It is going to be a bright, beautiful, fabulous future of people saying what they actually believe instead of what they're supposed to. They are afraid of us, and they should be. These sexless soy boy bloggers, frumpy, cat-drenched, piss-stained, cardigan-wearing lesbians. In a future imagined by BuzzFeed, it is not The Handmaid's Tale with women swinging from these buildings. It is you. And we cannot allow it. If we lose Europe, we lose everything. Some politicians are getting our message. At the end of this month, I'm going at the invitation of the Orbán government to speak in Budapest in Hungary. Any politician, I'm being dragged off. Any politician brave or stupid enough to invite me is clearly seen what the rest of us has seen. Be what you want, do what you want, say what you want, and never lose your conscience. Always stand by your principles, and they will crumble. Thank you very much. God bless, thank you. Now allow me to introduce